When the video of an intense confrontation at a crowded Atlanta coffee shop hit social media, millions of viewers couldn't believe their eyes. A bold, unapologetic black woman stared down an enraged suburban housewife, accusing her of having an affair with her husband. Instead of breaking down, she laughed. What she said next silenced everyone in the cafe and sent the internet into a frenzy. But no one was prepared for the truth that unraveled over the next 72 hours. It was a crisp Monday morning in the bustling city of Atlanta, Georgia. The Midtown area was alive with the hum of people grabbing their morning lattes and rushing off to work. At Cornerstone Cafe, a favorite local hangout, the scene was tranquil until it wasn't. In walked Karen Dawson, a 40-something mother of two with her blonde bob perfectly styled and her designer handbag slung over her shoulder. Her face, however, betrayed her polished exterior. Karen looked furious. She stormed past the counter, her heels clicking sharply against the floor, making a beeline for a petite yet commanding figure sitting in the corner. The woman, Tamara Jones, sipped her cappuccino, scrolling casually through her phone as if the world around her didn't exist. Karen didn't hesitate. "So, you're the one ruining my marriage?" she bellowed, her voice echoing across the cafe. Gasps rippled through the crowd, phones discreetly came out, and within seconds the cameras were rolling. Tamara, a striking 34-year-old woman with smooth, dark skin and an air of unshakable confidence, set her cup down and crossed her legs leisurely. Her fitted red blazer and black pencil skirt made her look like she'd just walked out of a boardroom meeting. She raised an eyebrow at Karen, unfazed. "Excuse me?" Tamara asked, her voice calm but laced with just enough sarcasm to rile Karen further. "You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't play dumb," Karen hissed, pointing a trembling finger at Tamara. "You've been sneaking around with my husband, Paul Dawson. Don't even try to deny it." The cafe was deathly silent, save for the hum of the espresso machine. All eyes were on Tamara. Would she crumble, apologize, run out the door? None of the above. Instead, she smiled. "Oh, Karen. Sweetheart, let me give you some advice. Never make assumptions without all the facts." The audacity! Karen's face turned red. "You're disgusting," she screamed, slamming her palm onto the table. "You've destroyed my family." Tamara leaned forward, her smile widening. "Destroyed? No, honey. If your family is falling apart, it's because your husband wasn't satisfied in the first place." By now, a full-fledged audience had gathered. The cafe employees froze, unsure whether to intervene. Some patrons whispered among themselves. Others clutched their phones, gleefully recording every second. Within minutes, the drama had gone live on multiple platforms. Karen's fury knew no bounds. "You have the nerve to sit here and act like this is funny? My children are crying at home because of you." Tamara rolled her eyes and finally stood up, towering over Karen with her confident posture. "Karen, let me explain something to you. Your husband's choices are his, not mine. If you're unhappy, maybe take it up with him instead of trying to embarrass yourself in public." That response sent the crowd into a collective gasp. Even Karen seemed momentarily stunned, but she quickly regained her footing. "Oh, I'll deal with him," Karen spat. "But you won't get away with this. I'll ruin you." Tamara let out a genuine laugh, the kind that infuriates an opponent even more. "Ruin me? Honey, you have no idea who I am." Karen's threats were cut short as Paul Dawson himself walked into the cafe. Tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in a crisp navy suit, he exuded the charm of a corporate executive who was used to getting his way. His face paled the moment he saw the two women. "What the hell is going on here?" Paul demanded. Karen spun around, her fury redirecting like a heat-seeking missile. "What's going on? This is the woman you've been sneaking around with." Paul looked mortified. He turned to Tamara. "Tamara, don't even try it, Paul." Tamara interrupted, holding up a hand. "It's about time we clear the air." Karen glared at them both, her eyes darting between Paul and Tamara like a detective piecing together a crime scene. "What's that supposed to mean?" Tamara grabbed her purse and pulled out a manila envelope. She handed it to Karen, who ripped it open without hesitation. Inside were legal documents. Karen's hands trembled as she read the heading, Jones v. Dawson Enterprises. "This isn't what you think," Paul stammered. "She's just a lawyer." "Correction," Tamara said, her voice cold as ice. "I'm the lawyer who's suing your husband for embezzling millions from his own company. I'm not sleeping with him, Karen. I'm dismantling his empire." Karen's jaw dropped. She stumbled back into a chair, her anger replaced by confusion and humiliation. The cafe crowd, who had been hanging on to every word, erupted into murmurs. Some even began to applaud Tamara. Paul looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. "This is a misunderstanding," he pleaded, his voice cracking. "Karen, don't listen to her." "Oh, shut up, Paul," Karen snapped. "I should have known you were hiding something, but this? You've humiliated me." Tamara picked up her coffee and turned to leave, pausing just long enough to deliver her final blow. "Next time, Karen, choose your battles wisely. And maybe pick a husband who doesn't need a lawyer to keep him out of jail." With that, she walked out, leaving Karen and Paul to face the stunned and judgmental eyes of the crowd. By the end of the day, the video of the confrontation had racked up millions of views on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Tamara's composure and cutting remarks earned her praise, with hashtags like Tamara the Queen and Know Your Worth trending nationwide. Karen, meanwhile, faced ridicule for her public outburst. Memes of her enraged face flooded social media, with captions like, "Karen versus reality." 0 to 1 point, Paul's reputation was in shambles. The details of his embezzlement scandal were uncovered within days, leading to his resignation from Dawson Enterprises and the launch of a federal investigation. Tamara's law firm, Jones & Associates, saw an influx of high-profile clients after the incident. She became a symbol of poise under pressure and a fierce advocate for justice. When interviewed by a local news outlet, she summed up the experience with a smirk. "Sometimes the best revenge is just living your truth and letting the facts speak for themselves." Karen filed for divorce within weeks, leaving Paul to face his legal battles alone. As for Tamara, she continued to thrive, unapologetically confident and unbothered by the chaos she had walked away from. In the end, Tamara proved that strength comes not from tearing others down, but from standing firm in your own truth. Her unshaken composure turned a public spectacle into a powerful lesson about integrity, self-respect, and knowing your worth. And while Karen and Paul's lives fell apart, Tamara's star only rose higher. Because sometimes the best clapback is success. Months after the explosive cafe confrontation, Tamara was at her Midtown Atlanta office, finishing up a particularly grueling day. The lawsuit against Paul Dawson had concluded with a massive settlement, and her firm had gained widespread acclaim. She had become a symbol of resilience and justice, yet she carried herself as she always had, with quiet confidence and unshakable poise. Just as she prepared to leave for the evening, her assistant Grace peeked into her office with a puzzled expression. "Tamara, there's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent." Tamara frowned but nodded. "Send them in." The door opened, and to Tamara's shock, Karen Dawson stepped in. Gone was the fiery, arrogant woman from the cafe. Instead, Karen appeared humbled, her eyes downcast and her demeanor subdued. She wore a simple navy dress, her usual designer accessories notably absent. "Karen," Tamara said evenly, crossing her arms. "What are you doing here?" Karen hesitated, wringing her hands. I owe you an apology." Tamara blinked, unsure if she'd heard correctly. "Come again?" Karen stepped forward, her voice trembling. "I was wrong. About everything. About you, about Paul. I let my anger and pride blind me. I humiliated myself and you in front of all those people, and for that, I'm deeply sorry." Tamara studied her, skeptical. "Apology accepted, but why are you really here, Karen?" Karen took a deep breath, her hands trembling. "Because I need your help. Paul, he's in deeper trouble than I realized. He's been laundering money through offshore accounts, and now the FBI is involved. He's going to take me and our kids down with him if I don't act. I don't have anyone else to turn to." The room fell silent. Tamara leaned back in her chair, her expression unreadable. Karen's desperation was genuine, But Tamara knew she had no obligation to help this woman. And yet she saw something different in Karen, something she hadn't seen before. Humility, growth, a willingness to change. Finally, Tamara spoke. "You're asking me to defend you?" Karen nodded. "I know I don't deserve it, but you're the best, and I need to protect my kids." Tamara tapped her fingers against her desk, deep in thought. "I'll help you, Karen, but on one condition." Karen's eyes widened. "Anything. You make amends, not just with me, but with yourself. No more excuses, no more hiding behind your privilege or your anger. If you want a fresh start, you need to earn it." Tears welled up in Karen's eyes as she nodded fervently. "I will. I promise." The case was a whirlwind. Tamara's fierce legal skills once again took center stage, dismantling Paul's defense and securing Karen immunity in exchange for critical testimony against her ex-husband. Paul was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison, while Karen walked away with full custody of her children and a newfound determination to rebuild her life. But the real twist came weeks later, when Karen approached Tamara with an unexpected proposition. "I want to partner with you," Karen said during a lunch meeting. "I want to use what I've learned, my privilege, my connections, my resources, to help women like you. Women who face discrimination, injustice, or anything that holds them back." Tamara raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "You're serious?" Karen nodded. "Completely. I want to make things right, and I can't think of a better way than helping you amplify the work you're already doing." After a long pause, Tamara extended her hand. "Let's see what you've got, Karen." The partnership between Tamara Jones and Karen Dawson quickly became a force to be reckoned with. Together, they launched Empower Legal Aid, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing legal assistance to underprivileged communities across Georgia. Their combined efforts brought resources, education, and justice to hundreds of families. Karen found purpose in her new mission, and Tamara, while still cautious, grew to respect her former adversary. Their alliance became a testament to the power of accountability, redemption, and collaboration. Months later, during the grand opening of their new Empower Legal Aid office, Tamara stood before a packed crowd of supporters, clients, and press. Karen was by her side, smiling nervously as Tamara spoke. "Life has a funny way of surprising us," Tamara said, her voice steady. "Sometimes the people we least expect end up teaching us the most valuable lessons. Today I stand here not just as a lawyer, but as a believer in second chances and the power of change." The crowd erupted into applause, and as Tamara and Karen exchanged a glance, the unlikeliest of partnerships solidified into something even greater: hope for a brighter future. Because sometimes, even the most brutal twists can lead to the happiest endings.